Okay, the day I've been looking forward to has finally arrived and I'm ready to do my office makeover video. If you're not interested in a lot of blah blah blah, I will have just pictures and a little bit of text on my blog. So the office was really my way of like telling myself psychologically, yeah, this house, you're here, you're committed, you're here long term. I just had my 10-year business anniversary. I was supposed to go to Tokyo for my anniversary, and instead I bought myself, a new office, well, a house and then an office. So I started off with having my office in this room, which is currently my junk catch-all room that I am continuing to sort out daily. I had a desk in the corner here, pretty crappy desk. I was always fighting the wind and the dust and the noise from the street and the glare, and this room just over time it got worse and worse and worse, and I couldn't focus. I work with audio in my ears all day and just the distractions. My mechanic neighbor who was here before me, so I'm not complaining about him, but he's just making more noise and it's really, really loud. He's backfiring cars like all afternoon. It was just I felt like I was trying to run my business like in the middle of Central Square, Times Square, which I've actually been to and I know what it's like. And yeah, it just was not conducive. So I decided I was going to move my office. So the next obvious room to move my office was this room, which was at the time my guest room and is now going to become my playroom, my arts and crafts room. I want to get away from my desk and do something standing up and creative room. I didn't like this room for the office, again, for the square footage, because I just need a little desk, and I found that it was like a waste of space in this house that then I'm going to be in for a long time, because I had people saying, well, why don't you combine the reading nook with the office or the gym with the office or something. And I like having my office a dedicated room that's just for work, that when I'm in that room, I'm in work mode. When I'm not in that room, I'm out of work mode. And that's really, really important when you work for yourself. I mean, I even had that in my motorhome. So, and then this room didn't have much of a view, just kind of like looking over the drying corner. And I was gonna lose all the storage for the rest of the house. It made no sense. So that left the maid's room, or the cuarto de servicio, which, this is a good bonus tip for when you're house hunting, at least in Yucatan, that you might look for a 2-bed, 1-bath house and end up with an extra whole bedroom and bathroom, because they don't add the cuarto de servicio as an extra room. And in some cases, it's really nothing to write home about, but in my case, it was a full bedroom with an ensuite. So once I started thinking about the square footage of this room, that it's way back in the house, I don't get all the noise in the street, it completely made sense to be in this room. My mother's really good with design, so she's the one who helped me figure out if I was gonna have enough light in this room, like enough natural light, and how I was gonna lay out the furniture. And it was the right call. I am absolutely delighted with this room. So I'm just gonna pan through, but I've got a lot of elements that I really wanna talk about, and I'm probably gonna leave people with questions, but I think I'll see if I can kind of answer them all. So why I needed a new office, there was the cosmetic factor, there was the factor of feeling, more focused, better ergonomics, better cable management, make it easier to clean. I've been in business myself for 10 years. For 5 of those years, I've been in temporary offices, makeshift offices, not very nice places. I mean, I went as low as I was transcribing using my little foot pedal there from a bed in Belgrade. I just wanted a space that doesn't matter what else is going on in my life. This room is done. I never have to think about it again. It's done for the long term. It's got a better electrical, and I'm going to talk about the electrical in a minute. So that even if I end up renovating the rest of the house at some point, this room is always going to be done, including the bathroom, which I've done in a separate video, and I can just be here and focus and continue growing my business, which has been taking off exponentially. I always wanted a turquoise and orange room. And unfortunately, the iPhone isn't great at picking up colors. So I think like over here, it's a little bit closer to the real color. It's a very, it's got a lot of green in it. Like this looks like it's like a blue room, but it's not. It's nobody would mistake it for blue. It's green, unless you're colorblind, I guess, maybe. But it's very dark turquoise that's very much leaning towards being a pale teal. And then I really love the combination of turquoise with orange or blue with orange, although I think I prefer the turquoise because you got a little bit of that green in there, and I just find that the two colors work really well together. And I didn't have this combination of colors anywhere else in the house, and I wanted to have one room that was like completely unique in terms of design choices, so that again, when I go to work, I feel like I'm in a different space. So that worked out really well, and I said that's going to be the room. The paint choices and the floor choice, and the floor is it's a mahogany look, caoba, which is a popular choice here, but it is tile. And I went with this one because first of all, I like the fact that no two tiles are the same, so it looks more natural. And also because the tile place told me that this is their popular model, so if I want to, buy more in a year, I should be able to find it. So with all of those choices, the room looks a lot warmer than it was, but of course I lose some of the natural light. But right now we're about midday, and this is about as light as it gets in the room, and it's absolutely perfect. This side of the room, on this side of the beam, it's a little bit darker. But when I'm sitting at my desk, I have natural light from the skylight and from the door, so it actually does not feel at all like I'm in a dark basement. So even though the colors are a bit darker, it doesn't feel dark and cramped in here at all. I just think it looks really beautiful. I'm so sick of looking at white walls and white floors. And then I ended up having this piece of art, a photograph from a friend of mine. His name is Jan Frewer. He was a sound guy for the British band Sweet in the 1970s. He's actually on Wikipedia and everything. And he's a photographer now, and he photographs under the name of Gandhi. And I'll do a link to his photographs. I bought this just after I met him, and it wasn't like an obvious choice for me to pick from everything that he had available. I mean, he had beautiful pink doors that would have looked more like my style of the rest of the house. But this one really, really spoke to me. And it wasn't until a little bit after I bought it that I was trying to figure out where I was gonna hang it in the house, couldn't find the right spot. And I realized that this picture represents my life. You've got the white boring door, it represents the mundane life that I was told I was supposed to settle for. And then you got the dark mysterious door with the color within that represents the life by design that I made for myself. So in that sense, this picture is really like evocative for me. And then when I decided I was doing the office in the orange and the turquoise, obviously this was going to be the showpiece of the room. So I'm really delighted with that, and that's what I've been waiting on. It took the framers ages to get it done, but they got it done. So I'm really happy with that. So I'm gonna go around the room a little bit, and I'm just gonna show you Bonita, because Bonita doesn't like soft things. She's always resisted, she always likes the cold floor. I bought her, I don't know how many mats and cooling beds. This is the only blanket that I found that she will actually lie on. And not all the time, but look, she's on it right now. So I put that there for her, and then I move it around the house, depending on where I am during the day. So I'm delighted that she actually likes that. So that's like Bonita's spot, and sometimes she'll be here by the bookcase. So I'm gonna just go around, and I'm gonna finish with the desk, because I know that's what everybody wants to know about is the desk, but I will finish with that. The closet, because I did the floor and the painting in here, the closet feels like it's part of the room. So I'm very happy to leave it open, and it forces me to keep it tidy. I had these file boxes before in the bright yellow, and so that's all I need for paper storage. This is all I need for, storing pens and paper and like cables and all the little bits of an office are all in there. That's another thing that was really strange when I was designing this office is I've gone 100% digital. I never thought I would ever do that. I like paper, but with the Apple Pencil and the Scribble feature on the iPad, I don't need to have notebooks anymore, no paper. I live in the future now. I'm not in Canada anymore, where internet is very dear. Like here, internet is just everywhere, so I can have my calendars and a lot of my tools living in the cloud because I never have to worry about accessing anything. So I'm 100% digital now. So I would have thought that at some point I would have an office, would have a big whiteboard or, like a paper journal. No, I don't have anything like that. I actually have to find a pen now, which is kind of crazy. So I really don't need much more storage than that and much more filing than that. So I really like that. I think if I hadn't realized I was going to keep this, office, this closet open, I would have probably changed out that light fixture, but I think it looks not too bad with the nice bulb on it. This picture of Bonita, I painted it myself, and it's gonna go up to my reading nook, but it's a placeholder right now. I'm waiting for a custom piece that's gonna be like art, but it's also gonna be functional. It's gonna be a reference material for me while I'm sitting at my desk, but I'm waiting for a friend to get that done for me. She's really busy in the summertime. This world map is from Lego, and they literally just pulled it out just in the weeks before I started working on the reno, and I immediately knew I wanted it for my office. It's the right size. The colors were just absolutely perfect. And the plan is I'm going to start filling it in with all the places I've been, the places that I want to go. So I've got, like, here is Yucatan, where I was born in Montreal, England, Bulgaria, south of Spain. And then maybe in the future, I'm going to get a whole bunch of like postcard sized photos and fill up this wall, and maybe like do a roadmap of how I managed to get to Merida. This door is eventually going to be a gloss white. I'm planning to do all my doors in the house in a gloss white with a wainscoting finish, which my contractor was listening to. So when he had the door made for the bathroom, he kind of went, well, gloss white and lines through it, even if the lines go the wrong way. I think he did a great job with that. So that's going to be one of the things that's left to do. And I also want to make myself like a custom piece of art to cover all the wires up here. I thought I'd be able to find something off the shelf, but it's a weird size. So that's really all that's left. Everything else, the room is done. I love that bathroom window. It just changes with the day, with the different lights. It's like a work of art on its own. Let's see what else I've got for like aesthetics. Curtain rod with a little valance to hide the mess of cables behind the desk. It works fine. Might not be the most, I don't know. I think I've had like mixed reactions to that, and I think it looks fine compared to having all the wires. And I've got a plant in the corner, again, for more cosmetic reasons. Over here, there was this like pipe sticking out here. I don't know what that was for. So it makes a great place to put my purse, and I usually have a nice decorative purse, so why not hang it there and not have it by the front door? The original plan of the room didn't have a bookcase in it. I didn't have room for it, but the desk is smaller than I expected. So I found this bookcase at Coppell in their dining room section, and it was the absolute perfect piece to finish off the room. I love the glass door, so I don't have to dust. So I have some art above there. I just like the moon. I like the look of it. And then the loon is from a Canadian artist who winters in Mazatlan. And the loon is kind of like the soundtrack of my childhood and camping trips up into early adulthood. So a little piece of home. And then in the bookcase, I've got some mementos. I have more in my other cabinet in the hallway, but I've got some of my extra precious stuff in here. This is my dad when he was younger in the early 50s. This is a paperweight that I got from a colleague that I was a little bit surprised because I didn't think this guy liked me very much. But he got me that for Christmas one year, and I think it's really, really beautiful. It's like underwater scene. It's got the bubbles and everything. Another Lego thing. This is a working typewriter, or kind of working. I mean, it doesn't type or anything, but it does move the carriage return and everything. So I bought this just before the reno started, and then I was holding on to it. And as soon as the reno was done and the house was put back together, I gave myself 2 days to put this together, and that was a lot of fun. And I think it looks good as a display piece. This is from Oaxaca, Alibrie, which is a traditional Mexican folk art, hand-carved piece, all hand-painted. This is a little glass bottle that would hold rakia, which is a liquor that's consumed in the Balkans. And I won this in Serbia on my walking tour. This soapstone mule represents my break with Canada, and I've got a whole blog post about that if anybody's interested. And then I've got my license plates from the Yukon, and then just personal journals and things. So this just kind of warms up the room. I had this flamingo in my other office. It was like the only nice thing that I had in that whole room, and it covers up the electrical panel for the aircon. The aircon is new, and I thought I was going to need it, but it turns out that I run it maybe 30 minutes in the morning just to get the humidity out of the room. And then my little ceiling fan from Home Depot, it's a Honeywell brand, that plus my little fan on the desk, between the two of them and having the door open, I get plenty of air. It's very comfortable in here. I don't need the aircon on. I already had this mat from the home store. I had it in the other room, and it's just the perfect size. I just can't get over how it just fits absolutely perfectly in that space. So I'm thinking maybe in the future I might want to commute to my office from outside, but I'm not quite there in my routine. I've really got to clean up the patio area, but I love having the view of the palm trees and the cactus and the pool from my desk. It's both a great detractor and a great motivator. but it's so quiet back here. I'm just really, once I have my AirPod Pros in with the noise canceling, I don't hear anything. It's fantastic. So that gave me a lot of light, and the window's polarized, so I get full light, but I don't get the damaging rays of the sun, and from outside you can't see in. The skylight went through a few evolutions. Originally it was supposed to be a glass block, but that would have done the same effect as the bathroom window. And my contractor was like all set to do that, and then I realized I wasn't gonna have enough light in this room. And so he said, we're gonna just put a big, heavy, thick piece of glass up there, and you can't see it with the iPhone, but it's like a window. If I look up, right now it's dirty, so I can really see the glass, but when it's been raining and the glass is clean, it's like I have literally nothing up there. It's like pure sunlight coming right down, and it illuminates like this end of the desk, so I do have light, and it moves through the room. But it doesn't like glare off my screen. So I have natural light, but I don't have all the negatives associated with the natural light, and I don't have all the damaging. Like the sun almost never hits any of my stuff. Usually the sun is headed in that direction, so I'm not worried about anything getting damaged. So I thought that was a really good solution, and he did a really good job of getting it sealed. We've had a lot of big storms. I haven't had any problem with leaks. So now we're going to move into more of the practicalities of the desk and, being settled in here. So my big splurge was this extremely expensive, but Aron Miller chair. Aron Miller, I keep saying Aron Miller. Aron chair by Herman Miller. And it's a completely custom design where I picked the color, and I picked the leather armrest and the chrome finish and the wheels and the whole 9 yards. I got really lucky, and they were having a sale, so I was able to get the fully customized model for the base model price. And so this is a chair for life. Like, it's got a 20-year warranty on it. And it's fantastic. It's really comfortable. I'm still learning how to adjust it because I'm still having trouble when I'm having a big day where I'm on the pedal all day. Back of my thighs hurt, which tells me this is like too high up at an angle. So I'm still working with videos trying to figure out how to get it exactly right. And it's a really nice high chair. Like I'm all legs and I don't have no torso, so it gets me off the ground and really comfortable. So this was a big splurge, but this was like a forever office kind of splurge. So this was probably the most expensive thing in the whole room. The desk, my contractor pretty much surprised me with this desk. He'd shown me some examples, and I thought he was just talking about having that top over a wood base, but no, I've got the legs and everything. It's 100% stone, made of local limestone. So it's actually quite a fragile stone. I've actually chipped it once. I dropped something on it, and I got a chip out already in it. And he warned me that it was going to stain really easily. So, it's not like, I know people that made the mistake of doing their kitchen counters with this stuff, and it's the wrong material, but for a desk, it's perfect. So the top is all polished, and it's got a rounded corner, rounded edge. It's comfortable. The legs have the bezels. It comes apart in 3 pieces, so technically you can move it, but it took 4 guys to get everything in here and set up. And they used levels, and they used measuring tape to make sure it was centered. The desk ended up being quite a lot narrower than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be more square. It was going to fill up the whole wall. And my contractor just kind of vetoed me on that without even really discussing it, and it was the right choice. I think if I'd had a bigger desk, it would have overwhelmed the room, and I wouldn't have needed that much space after all. So he made a good call. He even got the height right, and we never even discussed the height. I keep getting asked, like, how much was this desk? It was 6,500 pesos, about just under $400 US. I couldn't even have bought a pressed wood desk for that price, so he called in a lot of favors. And same thing with the doors, he got a good price on the doors. So between the desk and the chair, and they look really good together, it really feels like an executive desk, that I've been working for 10 years and my business is doing well, and I deserve to have a, beautiful space. So I'm really delighted with the desk. Let's see, I found a little trash can. This is just Walmart, and it just fits perfectly, and it's got like a little basket weave pattern, so it looks really nice. All the outlets on the at ground level, that one, and the one behind my new plant, they're all grounded, so I can use a surge protector on those. My contractor was arguing with me about whether or not I needed this extra one that he ended up putting in, and he finally, I said no, and he just put it in, and it was the right call. I'm really glad to have that extra outlet. Amazon ended up having this little shelving unit that was absolutely perfect to fit between the wall and the desk. I don't think I could even have had something made at that price. So I have my modem on the bottom. This one here is my UPS, my uninterrupted power supply / surge protector. I just bought that a few months ago, and I can run my office for 2 hours on that battery. So as soon as it starts thundering outside, I can just unplug the UPS from the wall, and then my equipment's protected and I can keep working. That's completely changed my life because I used to have to shut down during storms. And one time I wasn't able to shut down in time and my computer got fried. So thank you to Apple again for taking care of me on that. And then I've got my research books up here. I don't really use my paper books that much because I have them all in digital format, but they're there. So on the desk, cable management was always an issue. I have a lot of items that are plugged into my computer. I thought I was going to end up having to do holes in the desk to hide cables, but I was able to kind of get around that and not have to. So we'll get to that in a second. This silly little thing here is supposed to be like a Kleenex box holder. Amazon must have, the algorithm must have recommended it because of the colors, because I was looking for turquoise and orange things. And I actually kind of like the little retro look of it. And colors work. It's a good place. I can put the remote. I can put, like a pen at some point if I can find a good pen to hang there. But it actually has a really practical purpose. I keep receipts until I can enter them into my accounting software. So I can kind of, almost like a little mailbox for my receipts. So I don't know if it's going to be there forever, but for right now, I really like it. I use a wired keyboard and mouse for a lot of reasons. Number one is you can't really find a really good clicky mechanical professional grade keyboard that's wireless. And the other thing is that I work on my Mac. I have Windows and I have Mac. And one of the big things I hate about Windows, like among many things, is having to deal with drivers. And because of the way that the Windows works on the Mac, it feeds off of my Mac, and I don't have to worry about drivers on the Windows side. So my peripherals just always work. I never have to worry. And I was thinking, if I'm trying to deal with Bluetooth on the Windows side, it would probably be a nightmare, and I would just spend more time troubleshooting than it would be worth it. So I'm just happy to stay wired. This is a Mac Mini from 2008. This was their new revamp model that I had spec'd out, so that I probably got another good 2 or 3 years on this Mac before I have to think about changing it out. And underneath it, this is actually 2 separate units. So underneath it, this is a Satechi USB hub that's made to look like it's part of the Mac. And what this gave me, this hub, is now like all my cables, like my monitor power cables, my external drives that are in a little basket underneath the desk, all of that comes in around the back. My foot pedal all comes in around the back to be plugged in. And then I've got ports in the front with the USB hub for the keyboard and the mouse. And I can also plug in like a flash drive or something through here. So it kind of gives me the best of both worlds. When I saw this, I didn't care about the price. I just I want it. And when it became available in Mexico just around the time that I started the reno. So, and then the cable for the keyboard is really, really long. So I just have it coiled around there, and I don't have all this cable and wiring and stuff around the desk. This is a little phone stand or an iPad stand that I use daily. It's fantastic. I can have my phone resting up here so I can consult it. I can even have my iPad on it. So that really deserves a spot on the desk. I have coasters here because, again, of staining. So I have one for water and one for coffee. This is a mug warmer, which I never thought I was going to have such a silly thing. But I like to drink a big mug of coffee in the morning and it gets cold. And people will say, well, why don't you just get a smaller mug and just get up and refill it? Yeah, but it's another one of those things about focus. And if I can have my coffee stay hot for a couple of hours, that's a couple of hours that I'm at my desk and I'm working and I'm focused. So I'm really glad I bought that. It felt a little bit frivolous, but I'm really glad that I got that. I have a landline telephone. I think it's voice over IP, and I can call like over 100 countries with this. So it's absolutely fantastic to be able, I can just pick it up, call Canada, the US, clients in Europe, and I don't have to pay anything extra. My cell phone calls the US and Canada, but it's not comfortable to talk on a cell phone compared to a landline phone. So I love having my landline phone. This is a little charger set for my wireless, for my iPhone, my watch. This is not wireless. This is the actual cable that comes with the watch, but it's all coiled neatly. And then my AirPod Pros. So wireless technology, we live in the future. It's amazing. And then I have my little turquoise fan. I already had this, and it's just the right amount of airflow, and it also kind of acts a bit as like white noise. So between the fan and the AirPod Pros, I don't hear anything on the street. It's amazing. And the only other thing on the desk is I have this lamp. I've been looking for a desk lamp for ages, and then Amazon had this one on mega sale one day. I caught like a big flash sale. And what I really like about this lamp, if I turn it on, it's on, and then you can actually adjust the intensity of the light. So it goes, you know, so if I want it really bright, you know, we have a really dark afternoon because it's about this thunderstorm, I can have a bright light, or I can just bring it down a little bit in the evenings. And I love the look of it. It's got like the combination of the retro look of the articulated arm with the springs, but it also has a really nice brushed finish. I was having a lamp paralysis. I've been wanting a nice desk lamp for a while, and that just ended up being the one that I bought because, again, it was on sale and it had the features that I wanted, and it turned out aesthetically, I really like it. And it just clamps onto the desk. So that was just like a piece that I was missing. So I tend to use the lamp if I'm here in the evenings and I want it to be a little bit brighter, or again, when it's storming in the afternoons. So I think I have gone around everything. I'm just going to go around, make sure that I've done everything. Yep, I think that is just about everything that I've done with the only other thing I haven't talked about is my monitor supports. I believe this is Vivo brand, and I wanted my monitors off the desk to give myself more space, to also have them more manipulable, because the height that they were when they were sitting on the desk, they weren't high enough, and I was like leaning over and hunching over. So having them on the stand, I can bring them up and bring them down. It's fantastic. I went with this brand of display stand for the simple reason it was the only brand that I found that had an adapter if your older monitor didn't have a base mount on the back. So this is what these are, and a very inexpensive adapter. It was like maybe like $20 US with the adapter. So if in the future, if I end up replacing this monitor, which is going to happen because I've already got some dead pixels on it, it's that old, I'm not going to be upset that I spent money on the adapter and now I don't need it anymore. So well done with this company, instead of, you know, suggesting that I buy another monitor. And then the other thing was, like, with the desk is not very, very wide. It's actually narrower than my old desk that I had. Before I got moved in, I was really worried that my monitors were going to be too close to my eyes and that it wasn't going, that it just wasn't going to work. And I was really, really concerned, and I was trying not to blow, you know, not burst my contractor's bubble because he was really excited about the desk. But I was really worried it wasn't going to be wide enough. But because I can have the monitors a little bit back because they're on the arms, I have that extra couple of inches that I needed without having the extra, you know, space on the floor. When I finally kind of got moved in and I was addressing that with him, I was telling him, I was worried it was going to be too narrow. And he said, well, you had told me that you were going to have the arms. And he said, I figured you could move the monitor backwards. So it just goes to show he was really listening. And even with the language barrier and everything, he was understanding. So I think he did a really amazing job. I'm just really, really pleased with what the work that they did. There's a few little things in the office that I'm not happy with, but I would say the office, I am probably like 99% happy with how this came compared to my vision. So I would consider this a success. I think if you've seen the bathroom video, I have some issues in the bathroom, but the office itself, there's even things that, you know, blew my expectations. Like he was saying, the contractor was saying, well, there's no point putting a new fan in here. It's not going to do you any good. But this fan is great. I've got great airflow with this little fan. And then I can, in the evenings, I can just put the light on, but it's not like a really like bright, blinding light. The skylight, again, really great. The doors, I was envisioning a full glass door. Contractor preferred to put it in pieces like this for security, and also just it was going to be a lot less expensive than having a full pane, and I think he made the right decision. So this is where I'm working. I come in here in the mornings, and I'm just so infinitely grateful that I have this space. Bonita is happy with this space. She's absolutely adapted very well to it. You can see she's relaxed, no problem. I sometimes will keep that door open if it's a quiet morning, like on the weekends especially, because she's really happy that she can run out, still out that door and sit there, and she can look back and she can see me. So I still do that. And then I think as time goes on, Bonita is eventually, she's almost 16 years old, so I have to start thinking about life without her. I can envision myself at some point that I'm going to be here shut in tight with the aircon running all the time. But for right now, I'm not missing. I'm not, uncomfortable at all. So anyway, so I'm going to take some pictures, and I'm going to do a blog post also. So if you want to go and check those out, and I'll probably link to a few of the products that I use in here, like the hub and my keyboard and different things. So thank you very much for visiting my new space, and I hope you enjoyed the tour.